Welcome to the inaugural Bathurst 12 Hours here at Mount Panorama in New South Wales, Australia, where the drivers will be pushed to their limits up and down this mountain road as part of the new Pacific Sportscar Championship featuring races from Australia and Japan. The flag is waved and they're off. From a rolling start, they make it to the first corner. Some contact between the front runners. They make it through. Up the straight to begin their climb up the mountain for the first time under the cover of darkness.
Hello and welcome back to our 1966 Sportscar season, where we are still in our Mark 1 GT40, partnered with Peter Sutcliffe, and we're here. We've made it to Australia, and no better place than the Bathurst 12 Hours of 1966, which of course didn't happen. In fact, that didn't happen until 2011, so we're slightly early, but I've always wondered why haven't sort of top-tier sports cars or prototypes ever really raced at Bathurst. It certainly lends itself to more touring cars, as we are about to find out why sports cars don't race here. Yes, these sort of very undulating, twisty, tight circuits that tend to go through forests have always lent themselves to more touring car races rather than big prototype sports cars, very much like Spa and Nürburgring 24-hour races, up until I think it was 1999 or 2000 is when they introduced the big GT cars that we now know and love today. Whereas Bathurst, that didn't really happen until about 2011. There were two 24-hour races, but again, they mostly featured production cars, I believe, apart from two modified V8 supercars, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. But yes, for our championship, we shall start off at this made-up race as we have locked up and hit the barrier, and we're about to hit that barrier as well. No, just we somehow hold position with the fellow GT40 behind us. But yes, this Bathurst 12-hour marks the start of our brand new Pacific Sportscar Championship, which includes a host of non-championship events that did happen in the 1966 season, which include the Tourist Trophy of Japan at Fuji, the Tourist Trophy of Australia at Longford, the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, and the 12 Hours of Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast. So those four did happen as standalone events, and then I've just added this made up Bathurst just to see what happens. Okay, maybe we won't see what happens. Let's see how long we can survive as the Cooper Monaco gets in front of us, and he is in our class. So this is going to be a 1.2 or 1 hour 20 minute race, which luckily is about 30 laps, so that means we can divide our stints into 10 laps apiece. So it is myself and Peter Sutcliffe that will be driving, so I shall do the first stint, Peter will do the second stint, and then I shall finish off the last 10 laps with the third stint. It's always lovely to have a round number when it comes to pit stops. It's nice and easy to work out. I think we can do about 12 laps on a tank of fuel anyway, but we will be having to stop twice anyway, so we might as well make it 10 laps for each stint. just make it nice and easy. But yes, as we were talking about that Cooper Monaco, I suppose we should talk about how the car classes have been divided up. So, very much like the current series we're in, as we get a massive run on the far ahead, but I have yet to work out the breaking point. I think I use some trees normally, but because it's dark, like the 12 hours normally starts in the shadow of darkness, it will become light hopefully soon. Yes, I tend to use some trees because it's dark, I can't see them, so I will have to use some other marker. But as I was saying, similar to the World Sportscar Championship and the British Sportscar Championship they were currently in, as we have some traffic here that's helped us out, as we're now past back in front of Cooper Monaco. Yes, I've divided it up into prototypes that are either above a 2 litre capacity or below a 2 litre capacity, and then also sports cars which are either above a 3 litre capacity, lower than a 3 litre capacity, and then lower than a 2 litre capacity. There are 5 classes in total, should make it nice and easy. So in our class, for instance, it is ourselves and our very familiar Ford GT40 Mark 1. David Piper is also in this race. He's a very well-travelled racer back in the day. So he is partnered with Richard Atwood, who again we know and have raced against many a time. They are sharing Ferrari 365 P2, which again a car we have raced against many times now, British Sportscar Championship and the World Sportscar Championship. There's a couple of Ferrari 250 LMs, which again cars we've competed against. The Cooper Monaco, which you're currently racing against now. There is a Ford GT40 Mark II, which at the helm is McLaren and Hulme, who are obviously, I was going to say the top New Zealand drivers, but they're actually just the top drivers at this point, I would say, in 66. Yeah, so I've included cars that raced at either the Japanese races or the Australian races and sort of combine them so they all race at all of them, as well as adding a few extras like the Shelby American Ford GT40 Mark II with McLaren and Hulme, because they're both New Zealanders, so why wouldn't they compete in a racing series so close to home? And the car there, just coming out the pits, I believe that was the Elfin 400, which is, I believe, is an Australian-made car based on the Lotus 23, I believe. Certainly heavily modified and a new body put on it. That was sort of more like a Group C type car. So that'll definitely be out front, but again, with the nature of Bathurst, in fact any of these other circuits we'll be travelling to with these cars, as much as they are quick, it's all down to how thirsty they are and how reliable the AI are. So as much as he might just disappear into the distance, he will have to do more pit stops, and there's no chance that, you know, they might come into some trouble with some lap traffic. And then the other sort of not odd one but different is Tadashi Saki. He bought himself a Shelby Daytona Coupe, which obviously they stopped racing in 65, but then one made its way to Japan and he raced it in either the Tourist Trophy at Fuji or the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. I can't remember which one. Ooh dear, as we somehow stopped that going around. That was very lucky. So there's a Shelby Daytona that'll be racing with us. It did race, I think, into the late 60s, possibly early 70s. I can't remember that car now, but so that'll be an interesting one to see how it does. So that's all our over 2 litre capacity prototype cars. So Cooper Monaco, Ferrari 365, Ferrari 250LM, Ford GT40, Ford GT40 Mark II, Chevy Daytona, and the Elfin 400. And then for the under 2 litre class, obviously it's the usual suspects of the Porsche 906 and the Porsche 904. And then alongside with an Alfa Romeo Giulia. And then from Japan, we have the Prince R380, which would become the Nissan R380. The Mark 1 was in 66, the Mark 2 was in 67. I think there's only a download for the 67 one, but as far as I'm aware, that's okay. That's as close as we'll get. And then also an interesting one is the Daihatsu P3, which again, I think we have the P5 download because there isn't a P3 one. But again, I don't mind that. But yeah, I didn't really know these cars existed, Daihatsu, so again, that should be a class to really watch out for, see how they compete against the likes of the established Porsche. And then we come to the sports cars, which we have the above 3 litre class. So the AC Cobra and the Jaguar E-Types. There were quite a few E-Types that raced in Japan and Australia, so there's a couple of them going around. In fact, I believe that is a Cobra up ahead, as the sun is now pretty much risen. There's still long shadows, but we can definitely see our turning in points and braking points much better, as we're now gapping Cooper Monaco behind. So now we can see we've got a slow Jag there. It looks like one of his front wheels is a little bit wonky, so the Cobra should get past him. They're both all the same class. There's only 4 cars in that class. And then the 3 litre and under sports cars, you've got the Toyota 2000 GT, you've got the Austin T 3000, and the Lotus Elan. And then for the last sports car class, under 2 litres, you're looking at a Datsun 1600, a Honda S800, and a couple of Porsche 911s. So that rounds out everyone participating. That will participate across all the 5 races that we're going to do. So yeah, so it should be very interesting to see how everyone gets on, as we currently have no one around us. Right, so we're about halfway through our first stint, and I think we're probably running in 3rd or 4th. I know the Elfin 400 is ahead of us, and I know that the GT40 Mark II is ahead of us. I don't know where David Piper is. I think we overtook him at the start. It's hard to say, so I would have thought he would have steamed up behind us along with this Cooper Monaco as we go through the dipper once again. So yeah, so after Bathurst, we will round out our British Sportscar Championship campaign. So we'll have the Goodwood Tourist Trophy, and then the Brands Hatch Guards International Trophy. Hopefully we'll be able to win that championship. It's all very close at the top, only a couple of points between us and David Piper and Richard Atwood. So we do really need to get another win at least, just to really cement our intentions in that championship. Followed by the Fuji Tourist Trophy. Oh, we've got a Jaguar off there, I think, in the crowd, unfortunately. Yes, we'll be at the Fuji Tourist Trophy to continue the current championship we're in for the Pacific Sportscar Championship. And then after Fuji, we then return for our second race in the World Sportscar Championship at the Sebring 12 Hour, which I'm very much looking forward to. And then also that same weekend, it was double-headed with the Sebring 4 Hours, which was the first ever Trans Am race, as we've got a Daihatsu there facing the wrong way, and we've got some more traffic to contend with coming up the mountain, which is probably the worst place to hit it, but that is endurance racing, multi-class racing. So yeah, so that was when the first Trans Am race was conceded, and we shall be taking part in that, and then there'll be a run of 4 Trans Am races. So there's Sebring, Mid-America, Bayard and Virginia, and after that stint of American races we return to Europe for the Monza 1,000 kilometres, the World Sportscar Championship, where I think things will get really, really interesting at those circuits. So I've not really raced at the classic Monza. I've done, you know, Sebring feels familiar, even though it's not really the same as it is now by any means. And even Daytona felt familiar, and again, you know, the layout's very similar, but yeah, I don't know, just sort of Monza. And what's after Monza? Is it? Ooh, dear, as we clip the Toyota there. Really fired us off into the forest there at the elbow. Yeah, I don't know, just Monza just feels so foreign to me. So does, I don't know, I think Spa feels alright. And even the classic Nürburgring, that feels, I don't, that doesn't feel familiar. Oh, it's probably the Targa Florio as well, isn't there? Again, that's something I've not attempted to tackle, so that is going to be interesting to say the least. But like I said before, don't have a drive for those races yet. I will. I guess otherwise it'll be a very short and boring series that we're doing. But no, so David Piper, Peter Sutcliffe only raced in his car, or it might have been his car, or whoever he was partnered with. Bob Grossman, he shared with at Daytona. Yes, he only raced at the Daytona 24 and the Sebring 12 Hour, and then he did guest appearances in other full GT40s as the second driver, rather than it being his car. So it does mean that we need to find another team willing to chuck us in there for GT40, whether that be a Mark 1 or a Mark 2, as we try and get past this lightweight E-Type at the top of the mountain. We make it cleanly past, and then we've got a couple of cars on ahead there. Is that the Toyota 2000 GT at the front? I think it's the Alfa Romeo in the middle, and the Prince / Nissan there in front of us. Very, very beautiful looking car. It doesn't seem to be that quick compared to you know, as it looks like a prototype. But how it does compare to the Porsches would be interesting, see how close it is. So yeah, so we shall see what we can do as regards to what teams drove at those races. You know, we'll loosely have it on performance based, so if I do get more wins, then I guess that I can get more choice, but also if I do then make mistakes, then certainly I'll be limited to the Mark 1. We'll see. As we've got a Daihatsu there in front of us. And that Jag's still the wrong side of the barrier, and that Toyota came very close to rear-ending us. Don't quite have it to go down the inside there. We've got a slow car. Oh! And he decides to park behind it, but that gives us a big gap between us and the chasing Cooper Monaco. And again, I haven't really seen any of the other Ferraris or, you know, mate, I doubt the Shelby Daytona is going to be as quick as us. Perhaps on a straight line to a certain extent on acceleration, but this is quite a twisty and handly circuit, so I think that big may struggle. And so far everything seems to be so good. All the cars are pretty much still participating. It's just that slow Nissan that we went past then, as we have spoken too soon. Yeah, so far everything seems alright. I mean, was it considered too dangerous at the time? You know, they raced at the Nürburgring and the Monza with the high banks and the Targa Florio, which is just the island, and Nürburgring and Spa, and, you know, they raced at all those. Le Mans, are they any more dangerous than this? Or any less dangerous than this? Is this really that much more intense? Or because it was just the other side of the world, it just wasn't as easily accessible? I mean, even now, it's only really 12 hours. And then the Bathurst 1000 for their, obviously their V8 supercars, their regional, was it national racing touring car series. I'm not trying to play it down, I love the series. And I'm pretty sure there's some Australian GT racing that would race there as well, but yeah, is it just that too extreme? I guess it also is technically a road still, as I think our tyres are getting a little hot as the sun does continue to rise. The day will become hotter and hotter, so I think we are just cooking our tyres. And this hand still struggles to get back to the pits, although it did leave the pits and then it just sort of slowed down, so I don't know what's going on there. We've got a slow Jag. Was that the same slow Jag as before? Again, I think they've all got like bent axles. Whether they're getting fixed or not, I don't know. Right, and out the Forest Elbow and down the Cornwall Straight. I do believe this is lap number 10, believe it or not. I feel like it's gone really quickly. As much as there's been no one around me, it's been quite quiet. 10 laps or so. So we'll hand it over to AI Sutcliffe. And again, has that worked out what the white light is? Because it comes on at, was that over 140, was it? If anyone knows what that white light means, do let me know in the comments. Right, we'll add 90 litres, which gets them about 11 laps. We'll change tyres, we'll fix everything just in case. And we'll hand it over and see where we come out compared to everyone else. Right, so we'll just wait for him to leave and we'll just watch the other cars go past. So that 250-11 is probably a position, and that other Ford GT Mark 1 is definitely. Right. And off he goes to complete his 10 laps, I guess. Cue the montage. Right, he's done a very good job at those 10 laps as he comes in. Quite hot, actually. And there we go. The last remaining bit of fuel to go in. So we let all the cars go past. And we're off. There's a gear. We've got behind us, that's a Lotus Elan, and in front of us a 906, so I'm not entirely sure what that means position wise. I have remembered to turn on the pit board app, so next time by we should know where we are. We've got a very slow and smoky Daihatsu there. As everything is a little understeery and a little oversteery on pushing off the mountain. As everything's a little cool from standing still for a little bit. As we'll go to chase down whoever we need to go chase down. As the sun is pretty much at, must be at midday by now. As we're now going to do the last 10 laps of this race. As we've got a very slow Jag still pottering round. I'm not entirely sure why he hasn't hit it yet. I don't know if there's some sort of new update that I need to click something to persuade them to come pit. There's a whole gaggle of cars there. We're going to be approaching them quite quickly. I feel like... oh, I don't know which... I didn't know which way I wanted to go. Yeah, so I didn't quite want to do it on my racing. Try and full throttle it through the scene of an accident. And I saw that Jag. I knew he wasn't gonna brake in time. Well, he looks like he has made the corner. Right, so we're P4 at the moment, with the Coupe Monaco there up ahead. So that's nearly a podium position. Well, there will be a podium position. You see, obviously, where Thornton's there. So, and you've got Piper behind us, but it's like 38 seconds, was it? Goodness. He must have had an off or something to be that far back. Whether he needs to pit again or not, but it actually doesn't matter because we've done all our pit stops. So it looks like the race is on for third place then. And it's right there, so I don't think we actually lost that much time really. It's been pretty level pegging between us and the Osborne car to car. Just get it past this Honda. Oh, as we're gonna
big accident at the top of the mountain. Peter Sutcliffe's car hit the barriers and over. The driver looks to be out of the car and okay.
Well, that's far from ideal, isn't it? So we've obviously been cleared from the medical centre and we're okay. So now we're just going to have to watch the rest of the race. I mean, we're not, because obviously we fast forward it. But it did get me thinking, and obviously it's up to you who watch the series. There are two options I suppose we could do with this. A, which is what I've gone for, is that once we have a monumental accident, and I mean a monumental in that we can't get back to the pits, it means race over and that's it, we retire, which I think is fair enough. Or option B, what we do what the AI do, and obviously if they have a big crash, they just teleport back to the pits, and then they carry on, probably a lap down, and that's fine. Now, because I've gone for option A, well, we retired the car, I thought that option should also apply to the AI. So I had to look back through the replay to see any irregular laps from the competition, and, well, let's just say out of the 34 cars that started, 13 of them finished. One from our class, one from the P2 class, one from the S3 class, and then it was only the lower class of cars that actually finished. So, the results as they stand, the Shelby Daytona won, followed by the Daihatsu P3 in the lower class, AC Cobra in the class below that, Austin Healey and Lotus Elan in the bottom class. So that brings us to basically only the top 10 points being awarded to the winners. I'm not going to award points for cars that didn't finish, which were the ones that flipped over, which was pretty much everyone. So that answers my question. Why didn't they race at Bathurst in 1966? Well, it's because no one would finish. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed a shortened version of the 12 hours, and I'll catch you next time.